flag, son of a gun!
From the past.
I am a real American.
To the present. And the future.
Chair of wheels, more of lawn. Chair of wheels, more of lawn.
You are listening to Penn State's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Marking Out. It is our final episode of the semester. I'm Jason Marcus alongside Ryan Simpson. Once again, Matt Freiler could not be here today as he is calling softball, as he always does, the voice of Penn State softball. But thankful for you guys to be with us. We got a good show for you. We got the greatest Royal Rumble event coming up this Friday, live from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ryan, I'll start with you. What are you most looking forward to on that card?
I said it last week, and I'm going to add another match to it, but this Brock Roman match has me puzzled. The speculation around the match and Brock's contract, and what really is going to happen is kind of going to be a main aspect of this show. And then I'm also going to add this Rumble itself, the Greatest Royal Rumble. I mean, there's only about 15, 20 guys who are confirmed to be in the match, and we really don't know what the winner's going to get yet. So the mystery aspect there, I'm guaranteeing we're going to get a good bit of returns because they got 50 spots they need to fill. I mean, we're already getting Shane in there. We're getting Daniel Bryan in there. We're getting Kurt Angle in there. We got Rey Mysterio confirmed the other night on SmackDown. We have a returning Great Khali, who I'm sure is going to get an enormous pop over there. But this Royal Rumble match really has me stunned, too, because there's only 2 or 3 guys that I could see winning it, and 2 of them are in matches earlier in the night, so it's gonna be a toss-up.
Who are you referring to when you say only 2 guys that you could see winning it?
Well, I have 3 guys, but 2 of them are in matches earlier. I have Daniel Bryan. If he doesn't have any spot earlier, I could see him winning that match as a good feel-good moment. And then I have Cena, because if Cena loses to Triple H earlier in the night, I could see the closing shot of this pay-per-view, if you want to call it that, being Cena victorious over the Rumble competitors. And then my third pick would be Braun Strowman, because he's not on this card. He hasn't gotten really anything since he's become possibly the hottest babyface in the company, and him winning this 50-man Rumble would be a great asset to his character and possibly his push into the future.
All right, so obviously, like you said, Ryan, we're not 100% sure what the winner of this Royal Rumble is going to get, but if you had to pick a winner right now, who is your pick?
I'm going to go with Braun. It just makes the most sense. We haven't had a good, I don't want to say, okay, let me take that back. Not good, but we haven't had a strong Rumble winner push in a while. Like when Randy won, he beat Bray for the title, and we were all kind of confused. We've had the Roman saga of him winning the Rumbles. The last good Rumble winner, I guess I say, was Batista, because there was a lot of questions about who was actually going to win at 30, and then the whole Daniel Bryan thing got kicked in. But I would like to see Braun win. Like I said, he's the hottest guy possibly on the roster. I hope he gets a huge pop over there. I hope he eliminates half the field, because it would be great to see. But I'm going to go with Braun Strowman.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think it's definitely going to be a phase, because the nature of this event is it's really more for promotional. It's not really to develop many storylines, if any. So you'll go Braun. I'm going to go Daniel Bryan, just because he's probably the biggest baby face on the roster right now. All right, so let's start with some of the undercard matches. We got Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto for the singles match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. Who do you got and why?
I have Cedric here. I just don't think that they would have him drop it yet. I think they're going to build a division around him for a little while here. And hopefully this thing with Kalisto does go on, because out of all the guys on 205 Live who the main crowd or the main audience can recognize and can possibly get behind would be Kalisto. And I think they're going to put on a really good match. Sadly, I don't see it going more than maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes max because there's a lot on this card, but I see Cedric retaining here. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. Cedric Alexander is going to retain the belt here. You just put it on him. There's no reason to lose it. It's not like Kalisto is that over or anything. Up next, we got the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan, defending the SmackDown Tag Team titles versus the Usos. Who do you got?
I have Bludgeon Brothers again. I think that the Usos winning here would be possibly by like DQ or something. Like, say the Usos get under the Bludgeon Brothers' skin and they bring out the hammers and like try to attack them. The ref rings the bell. Obviously, Bludgeon Brothers would retain the belt there, but I see Bludgeon Brothers kind of squashing them.
Yeah, I agree. Same reason I kind of picked Cedric Alexander. You just put the belts on them. There's no really reason to take them off. And like I said, this show isn't really to develop storylines. It's just to develop a market.
Which is a great point because a lot of the guys in these matchups are new title holders. So, honestly, I see this pay-per-view being kind of boring, may I say, just because I think it's very, very played out of who we're going to see win and why, and I'll explain more once we get through the rest of the matches.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say the word boring because if you look at the full card, it's pretty stacked. It's almost bigger than WrestleMania. I think I understand what you're saying though, is from a predictability standpoint, but you just gotta enjoy the wrestling for what it is. All right, up next is the Raw Tag Team titles. You got Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, whatever you want to call their little union, versus The Bar, who are now officially SmackDown superstars. So I guess I kind of know your answer, but who you got?
It's got to be Bray and Matt. I mean, Cesaro and Sheamus kind of teased it on SmackDown last night, and Sheamus was, well, we're not going to be on SmackDown long. We're going to be going back. But I just don't see why they wouldn't put him on Bray and Matt. I think this little 2-week run after Mania has really kind of shown how much Matt is over, because I think they were skeptical about Matt's character coming over to WWE. So now that they have him out there literally clapping and telling the people to stand up, and the entire arena is pretty much going and standing up for him, I think management is going to get behind them and put the straps on him.
Yeah, I agree with them 100%. It's going to be Bray and Matt to win those titles. Interesting to see what they do afterwards. All right, we're going to take our first break here. You're listening to Marking Out here on Com Radio.
Longer, Lion's Pride, stand together, blue and white. Lion's Pride, show the world your Penn State side. Lion's Pride, you live it, you love it, Lion's Pride.
Lion's Pride, locally owned and operated in downtown State College since 1976, offers everything Penn State for every Penn Stater. At Lion's Pride, we are Penn State.
Lion's Pride, you live it, you love it, Lion's Pride.
Hey, Com Radio listeners, make sure you stay tuned in this week for all of Com Radio's coverage of the best Penn State sport matchups. Wednesday, April 25th at 5 p.m., Penn State softball begins their doubleheader against Bucknell. Friday, April 27th at 6:30 p.m., Penn State baseball takes on Northwestern in Game 1 of this weekend's series. Saturday, April 28th at 11 a.m., Penn State men's lacrosse takes on Michigan. Saturday, April 28th at 2 p.m., Penn State baseball takes on Northwestern in Game 2 of this weekend's series. Sunday, April 29th at 1 p.m., Penn State baseball takes on Northwestern in Game 3 of this weekend's series. Don't miss the best way to catch all of your favorite Penn State sports and tune in all week long here on Com Radio.
Now back to Com Radio's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler.
Welcome back to Marking Out here, the final episode of the semester. I'm Jason Marcus alongside Ryan Simpson, and we are talking the greatest Royal Rumble event coming up this Friday in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We previewed a little bit of the undercard matches. Now we're going to start getting into the headliners. But before we do that, I want to talk about the United States Championship match, a title that's changed hands probably most recently out of all the titles within the company. Jeff Hardy, the champion, defending against Jinder Mahal. Interesting scenario here because you just put the title on Jeff, but now you're also Jinder Mahal is essentially a babyface, you would think here. So
yeah,
where do you think they go for this one?
Out of all the matches, I think this is the match that could go either way. It doesn't make sense for Jinder to win, but like you said, in this matchup, he's the babyface. But I see Jeff Hardy winning here. You just put the strap on him. You're giving him the singles push. Let him run to the moon with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a way in which you can protect kind of both guys because Jeff is the babyface in this one, so you're not going to he's not going to, do any, heel tactics or whatever. I guess I would imagine the Singh brothers kind of getting involved in some point. I don't know. I think I'm actually more excited for this one than I think I should be, just because I'm curious to see
how the finish is.
Yeah, exactly. How they book it and whatnot. And, because they're also leading up to something with Randy Orton. The winner of this faces Orton at Backlash. So we'll see what he's doing, because he'll most likely just be in the Royal Rumble event. So
yeah,
we'll see what they do with the United States Championship. Moving on to the Intercontinental Championship, I think this is the match that has the potential to steal the show. We have the champion Seth Rollins defending the Intercontinental title against Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and SmackDown superstar The Miz in a 4-way ladder match for the aforementioned Intercontinental title. For the greatest workers in the entire company right now, Simpson, who do you got and why?
I'm going to take Seth here for the same reasons as earlier. You just put the strap on him. He's going to carry this belt for a couple months, I see, and previewing Backlash as well, they already are advertising a match with him and The Miz. So I think Seth already has to retain here. Maybe he pins Finn or Miz. I don't see it being Joe. I don't see them eating the fall.
Well, I mean,
it's a ladder match.
It's a ladder
I'm
match.
sorry.
So, no one's going to eat the fall, but
yeah. But yeah, I see Seth winning here easy.
That's interesting. So they're building up for a program with Seth and Miz, even though they're on separate shows for Backlash?
They already advertised it as Miz versus Seth. I mean, because Miz hasn't gotten a one-on-one rematch for his belt. Okay. Backlash is interpromotional, so I guess that's how they're booking it. Yeah.
Well, at the same time, I think they're going to do something on the show that's going to create some buzz. Like we said earlier, I think it is going to be very predictable, but I think there's going to be at least one match where I think we get swerved, and I think this is actually going to be it. So you say Seth Rollins. I'll go bold here. I'll say Finn Balor wins the Intercontinental title, and he makes it a triple threat match at Backlash, and then Samoa Joe can do his thing with Roman Reigns. All right, coming up next, we have The Undertaker versus Rusev.
Rusev Day.
In a casket match. One of the most confusing and most random matches on the card. It was announced a while ago, and then it was replaced. Rusev was replaced with Chris Jericho, and then he was replaced again, and now he's back in the match. So who knows what's going on behind the scenes here, but all I know is this Friday, we're going to see The Undertaker wrestling again in a casket match against Rusev Day. Ryan, I think I know the answer. But is there any chance Rusev literally doesn't get buried here?
As Vince McMahon's entrance music says, no chance! Because bold prediction here, I see this match taking less time than the Undertaker-Cena match did at Mania.
Wow.
I could see it being a
under
choke
2.5 minutes?
I could see it being a choke slam, a tombstone, push him in the casket, and close it shut. Just because of all of this other crap that has happened between Lana and Rusev and pulling them, putting them back in the match. I think this is going to be... I think Taker's entrance is going to take longer than the match is going to take.
I agree with that. It's been interesting, though, because, there was so much confusion about what Rusev's place within the company was, and then, ever since the SmackDown or the Superstar shakeup, really has been thrusted into the main event scene, which is good for him because he's what he deserves. He's a great wrestler, he's a good character, he's over, he's selling merch. There's literally no reason not to put him in there. Obviously, I can't imagine he's going to lose. He's going to beat The Undertaker in the casket match in a one-off for no reason. But I think it's going to be a true test of Rusev's ability to adapt to the circumstances because he knows it's everybody in the, everybody knows he's losing this match. So on the other side of this, what does Rusev do with it?
It's going to be interesting. We'll see how he does.
Before we move on from that match, one thing that I thought was really awesome is we talked about there was a brief period of time where Chris Jericho was being advertised to face The Undertaker. And I just want to point out something real quick because this is the thing that makes Chris Jericho one of the best ever. Out of nowhere, Chris Jericho's put into this match. And the minute he's put in this match, Jericho goes into the marketing machine he is. I don't know if you caught this, but... They were advertising that Undertaker-Jericho match, and then all of a sudden on Twitter, Jericho starts going on about how he's the king of the casket match because he's undefeated.
He is.
Also, he's never been in a casket match, which is part of the reason why he's so awesome. But you just know, if that match was still going on for another week, we'd already have T-shirts, Chris Jericho, king of the casket match, and I just want to show my appreciation for Chris Jericho because he's one of the best of all time.
He might be the most underrated superstar of our generation, possibly of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But moving on to the next one here, we have Triple H versus John Cena for the first time in 8 years, if I have that correct. And this one might be a question mark too because, like I said earlier, I could see Triple H winning because he just lost to Kurt and Ronda. I could see
Right.
Cena winning because it's the feel-good story. So who do you have in this match, Jason?
This is a tough one, too, because I think both superstars are coming into this as baby faces. I know you would think Triple H is the heel, but Triple H has gotten to the point where everyone knows that he's kind of behind the scenes and he's kind of running it. It's kind of like his shtick in NXT. Everyone's he's like dad to everybody now.
Yeah.
So it is kind of babyface versus babyface. I will say though, I think John Cena needs it a lot more because I honestly couldn't tell you when's the last time. For years he was Big Match John and
Super Cena.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't remember the last big pay-per-view match that John Cena actually won. He's had a really bad string of losses. So
True.
I think he needs it more. I think at the end of the day, no matter what the out result is, both of those superstars are still going to have the same momentum. No one's really going to be hurt by this. But I think John Cena obviously is wrestling more regularly, which isn't saying much because they're both part-time.
Yeah.
But at least when Cena comes back, he's going to be essentially thrusted into some sort of title picture, you would imagine, whereas Triple H is only there to put over a babyface, whoever they decide to be at the moment.
Very true.
So, final prediction, I'm actually going to go with John Cena on this one, just because I think if Triple H were to win, it would have to be in a heel tactic. I just don't see
I
him
don't
being...
think it's happening either.
Because to me, this is like a big house show that they're just promoting as like a big pay-per-view. It's it's very weird.
It is very, very weird. I'm small note here. I'm very curious to see if this becomes a recurring pay-per-view too.
Yeah, I don't think so, because I think this is a complete one-off just to do everything they can to kind of get into this market. Especially because, honestly, a big point is they aren't allowing the women to wrestle.
True.
And when you're pushing this women's revolution, and that's becoming one of the biggest things on the show, I don't know how you'd make this a yearly event when they're not on there. Plus, it takes away from the actual Royal Rumble itself, because the actual Royal Rumble itself is supposed to be just a once-a-year thing that everyone looks forward to.
Very true.
If you start doing this every year, now it's twice a year, and it's kind of like what they did almost, I guess, 10 years ago at this point when they started doing, pay-per-views specifically around stipulations. I never really liked that.
Yeah.
Like the TLC pay-per-views or the Hell in a Cell pay-per-views.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, it takes away from the...
aura or the mystique.
Exactly, because if they're happening every year, then, for example, the Hell in a Cell matches, those were supposed to be saved specifically for feuds that were going on for a long time, and this is how they ended it.
Yeah.
And now it's it just happens every year because they have to.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
But that's that John Cena Triple H match. Who did you say that you had in that one?
I'm going to pick Cena just because it's going to be a happy, feel-good show, and I think he'll stand up and hustle, loyalty, respect. Here's some T-shirts.
All right, and then the next match we got going on here for the WWE Championship is AJ Styles, the champion, defending against the challenger, Shinsuke Nakamura, a rematch from WrestleMania 34. Ryan, do you see this going the same way, or is this the day that they put the belt on Shin?
I see it going the same way because of what happened on SmackDown last night.
Okay.
I see Shin throwing another low blow. The match is going to get called off because, once again, AJ gets to keep the strap. Shin's going to get a whole bunch of boos and only get more heat. So, once again, right up the predictability chart, mark it off.
I don't know. I think kind of like what I was saying about the Intercontinental title match. I really feel like there's something on this card that they're going to want to swerve us with in order to create some buzz, if for the very least, to get us to tune into Backlash. So I don't know. Maybe they put the belt on Shinsuke on this big event because they're promoting it like a WrestleMania. They have a lot of eyes on this event. So it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because then that creates a buzz around it. And then you could do that storyline going forward. They'll still have the match at Backlash because it'll just be AJ's rematch at that point. Whereas I think if AJ were to beat Shinsuke clean, it takes away from Backlash. So I don't think that's the finish. I think it's either Shinsuke wins the title, obviously through heel tactics, or AJ retains through a disqualification. I don't see AJ beating Shin clean like he did at WrestleMania.
I don't think that's going to happen either. But you're saying there's going to be a swerve on this card, and I think the next match and the final match, what should be the main event, is going to be the quote-unquote swerve because in Saudi Arabia, it might be a swerve. But over here in America, we know exactly what's going to happen in this final match.
Well, I know what Ryan's talking about. I'm sure you guys too. We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about the main event, and we'll preview Backlash. You're listening to Marking Out here on Com.
We are stronger, Lions pride. Stand together, blue and white. Lions pride. Show the world your Penn State side. Lions pride. You live it, you love it. Lions pride.
Shop our winter sale in-store and online at lions-pride.com and save up to 50% on your favorite Penn State gear from brands like Nike, Under Armour, Champion, and many more.
You live it, you love it. Lions pride.
Looking for an easier way to listen to Com Radio than streaming on your computer? With Com Radio's phone app for both iOS and Android devices, you can tune into Com Radio on your phone anytime, anywhere. Just visit the App Store on your device and search for Penn State Com Radio to download our free application, which allows you to stream over cellular data or Wi-Fi connection. Don't miss the easiest way to catch all your favorite Penn State sports, news, or talk shows, and download the Com Radio app today.
Now back to Com Radio's only WWE talk show, Marking Out with Jason Marcus and Matt Freiler.
Hey guys, you were listening to Marking Out here on Com Radio. I'm Jason Marcus alongside Ryan Simpson, and we have one more match to talk about here on the Greatest Royal Rumble event, and then we'll go into Backlash really quick. But it, of course, is for the Universal Championship inside of a steel cage. You've got the champion, Brock Lesnar, defending against the challenger, the big dog.
The big dog.
The big dog, Roman Reigns. Obviously, big swerve happened at WrestleMania a couple of weeks ago. Everyone was 100% sure that Roman Reigns was going to walk out of there as the newly crowned WWE Champion, but that was not the case for whatever reason. But now people are saying maybe this is the event that they dropped the belt, or is this just another example of the WWE, carrying us marks along? So, Ryan, let me get your thoughts on this match. What do you think is going to happen here?
It's got to be Roman. And I said that for WrestleMania, but I think this has to be Roman. Like I said, this is the moment where he's going to get cheered. You know it, because Saudi Arabia doesn't understand Roman like we understand Roman, and Brock's gonna get booed. So it's classic. Like it's just so painted on the wall. And like, yeah, a little bit for WrestleMania, maybe we wanted it a little bit too bad because we hate Roman so much. But I think this has to be Roman. It has to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you, but at the same time, like I said, we all thought the same thing at WrestleMania, so who's to say that they don't do the same thing again? But the only real issue is if they have Brock retain again, where does Roman go from here?
Where does anything go from here?
Right, exactly, because Brock's not wrestling full time. So, official prediction, I guess I will say that Roman's got to win the title here.
It's the big dog.
It is, in fact, the big dog. That'll do it for the Greatest Royal Rumble. We're going to preview Backlash really quick. That is the first ever, not first ever, but is the first pay-per-view where both brands will be represented post-WrestleMania. So, Simpson, why don't you break us into that card? What's the first match you want to talk about?
All right, so officially confirmed the other night on SmackDown was Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. Who do you have here?
I think you got to go with Big Cass in some way or another. He's the guy that needs the most push. Daniel Bryan's going to be over regardless. You're still trying to make Big Cass a main event star here. I think he doesn't obviously, he's going to get the pinfall, but it's not going to be like he's a heel. So it's going to be some sort of heel tactic there.
Yeah.
Get some sympathy for Daniel Bryan, and then, you'll promote the rubber match the next pay-per-view.
Completely agree. I'm going with Big Cass as well. Up next, we have Nia and Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title. Who do you have there?
I'm actually going to go with Nia Jax again. I think her reign is too short-lived to end it now. I could see why they would put it back on Bliss just so that you could have that rubber match again at the pay-per-view. But I think that they're going to give it to Nia, and they're both going to move on from here. Nia will go into a new feud. Alexa Bliss will go into a new feud, and we'll see what happens.
Completely agree. I'm saying Nia as well. All right. Getting low on time here. Let's just go one off. So SmackDown Women's title, Charlotte versus Carmella. Who do you have?
Carmella.
Carmella, same. IC title, Seth versus Miz. If Seth retains, who do you have?
Ooh, I'm going to go with Seth as well.
Oh, I'm taking Miz here. I think they're going to jump back to him on SmackDown. And then finally, we have Roman versus Samoa Joe. Who do you have?
This is a tough one. I honestly have no idea, but you would got to think Joe, right? Because he just came back. Are you really going to give him a loss in his first pay-per-view?
Exactly. I completely agree. I think it's going to be Joe, but I think it's going to be by DQ. I think he's going to take a chair and just beat Roman down because he's been spitting mad promos about how Roman's a little girl and can't beat Brock. So I think Joe's going to destroy him.
Watch Bobby Lashley get involved in that match. That's my hot take for that one.
Ooh, I like that.
Any other matches for Backlash?
No, that is all we have confirmed right now. I mean, unless something gets set up here for the Greatest Royal Rumble, that's our Backlash card.
All right. Well, you guys heard it. Make sure you tune in to the WWE Network this Friday for the Greatest Royal Rumble event, and then next Sunday for Backlash. This will do it for our final edition of Marking Out of this semester. I just want to thank everyone who's listening to us either live or on YouTube or on SoundCloud. I really appreciate the support. We just love doing this. We hope you guys enjoy listening to us too. So, again, just thank you so much for your support. So from Ryan Simpson, I'm Jason Marcus. For Matt Freiler, who can't be here, and I know he really wanted to, thank you again, and we will see you guys in the fall. Take care, guys.